Kia ora tātou katoa, and welcome to Blood, Sweat and Talanoa. Also welcome to my two also here, Shane and Te Hau. Kia ora na korua.
Yeah, talofa.
Talofa. Tonight on BST, Blood, Sweat and Talanoa, we have two extinguished guests that are joining us, well-known, rangatira or matais in the world of Wainui Mata and Whanganui Tara. So our guests all the way from Wainui, we have Korua Star Olsen and Talofa Lava Fauono Ken Laban. Welcome, gentlemen.
Talofa, very nice to be with you.
Oh, kia ora koutou. Yes, likewise.
Kia ora, lads.
Hey,
Kia
if
ora.
I can just correct that info.
Oi.
Yeah, I moved out of Wainui some years ago. I thought I just want to put that on the books.
Oi. Ka pai start.
Ken's a ko mātua Wainui.
Oi. All the men.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of our audience or viewers out there, they know who the both of you guys are. Obviously, broadcasters, well known in the community and all around, I guess, the world. So we'll get to the nuts and bolts of things. I'm really interested in the Big Eight. If one of you two could lead us off or start off of how it all happened and why it happened. Obviously, us here at Blood, Sweat and Talanoa, we talk about health well-being. So let's get straight into it.
You want to open that one up, Ken, or give it a crack?
I'll give it a crack, eh? Well, Billy and Pretty Wepu's dad, Bill, passed away a few years ago, and he's about the same era as Star and I, and we were all at his tangi, and as you all know, he was a big man, Bill, and was a huge tangi as well. So there was a real coming together of the generations right up to, Star at my age. And, we were after the Urapa and getting back to the marae at Wainui. It didn't take long for the talk to get started about in and around how we were all getting older. And most of us were were now becoming grandfathers, and the need for us to stay active, So essentially, the conversation started at the wharekai at the marae, and it the next stage was a conversation with Star and I and. Few other people that are getting together of at that stage it was basically most of the men, all over 50, all well over 100 kilos. All of them were fantastic. Most of them fantastic rugby league and senior Premier rugby league players in their day, and a lot of them basically hadn't done anything since they stopped playing. So, you know what our diet's like and our lifestyle is like. We can't change the world all at once. But that was the reasoning behind it. With Bill, we all know that Bill went way before his time. So we started with a couple of hui and a couple of get-togethers, and then we had a bit of informal touch and then a few laughs, and then we had weekly walks up the Wainui Mata Hill. Then it started to get cold, obviously in the winter. So we were very, very lucky that Les Mills came to the party. They provide us with a trainer, Terry Tuomita from Les Mills. They give us a section of the gym at Les Mills on a Tuesday night at 6:30, and he puts us through a circuit program, and I think it must be a good about 5 years start. Sort of something. Yeah, that's how it started, wasn't it, bro? Something like that.
Something like that. Well, I think it'd go back further too, bro. I think I saw some of those memory shots on Facebook, and I think it was for 8 years. I think Kenny.
Oh,
8 years, bro. And so, yeah, no. It was about active and the lack of. So, as Ken said, Game of Touch was how it all began down at the Footy Park. And we had good numbers right at the get-go. Unfortunately, the bros who thought they still had that in and away, they were kidding themselves, and it was a more like a straight up and down type of game. Hey, but
a couple of us got laid out.
It was supposed to be touch.
Good-natured touch.
But it served the purpose. Right? It's getting our brothers active, and really what it was to get them interested again. And even with the Les Mills, so that's like and walking the hill, but the rest, what we try to do is get them to do something in their time,
right?
Just to get them motivated, get them moving. And so you look around and you see blokes who could have been here a bit longer and no longer here, because of. So the Big 8 was a name that we came up with through. At that particular time we were playing touch, obviously, and there was 8 aside, and it was 8 minutes each way, and we were all over the 100 kgs, and so that's where we got the name, the Big 8. And, you wouldn't believe it, bro. Kenny goes down to the local undertaker because we're all dying to get in there. And he got him to sponsor our T-shirt.
Oh, wow. It's good thinking, eh?
Yeah, here we are running around with these T-shirts with the Undertaker's name on the back of it. I mean, we were just asking for trouble, eh?
That's deadly, mate. That's deadly.
It is. Well, I said to him, if we have a heart attack playing touch in wearing your T-shirt, you give us a discount. It was 30% as well.
Yeah, but so from there, it grew. The momentum, really kicked on, and mate, we're no different to. I see a few of the bros out at Porirua doing the same thing as well. Getting themselves together and getting active and getting motivated. I mean, that's what it's all about. The fact that we're putting it out there on Facebook, it's just promoting more healthy living, a healthy lifestyle, and we're getting good feedback, and people respond with their messages. And, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's been good to see the stuff on Facebook and the sessions. I also saw there was like one session, 500 reps in 30 minutes. They look pretty intensive with Terry taking the class.
Well, only Ken Laban can do that because he uses lightweights.
Yeah, well, I think too, like the social media, they tell me that when Les Mills, they monitor their social media traffic, and because of all the whānau associated with all of us that attend the Big 8s, they get a tremendous amount of social media action on there. I think probably more than any other group or any other individual. So from their point of view, it's certainly got some benefits because there's always comments and always likes and all that kind of stuff. So that all adds to it. But most importantly, people that are our age are being active. And, the fitness industry is not for all the skinny young 24-year-olds as well. The industry's for everybody. So, it's great that we can, be with a group of people that encourage activity, especially, as Māori and Pacific men, it's a big issue for us. Staying healthy, staying active, well-being, all of those things that are important to living a good and long life.
Yeah, what your guys' thoughts, like I know you guys have been involved around sort of health and primary health and Ken at the governance level as well. Yeah, is there are we sort of turning around some of those poor health statistics, and particularly for those of us that are sort of post post footy and sort of didn't carry on in terms of some sort of activity to sort of maintain ourselves?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question, but I don't know that. I don't know we've done too much in the way of collecting data, because we're not an organisation that's accountable to anybody yet in terms of funding for outcomes or that sort of thing. And as they say in life, you can only change the world one person at a time. And the fact that, as Stars already mentioned, after 8 years, we're still going. We're still active, and we're still moving. And I suppose at some stage in the future, they might look to us for a bit of study. We've done Star and Kokiri Wholewater have organised some testings that we've done, that we've been able to do as an add-on to staying active, and that's been very progressive and very good as well.
Yeah. There's a little bit of echo feedback. Has someone got a phone open at the moment, or?
Is your phone on?
What's the point of having glasses if you got that phone that close to your eyes? You need to wear 2 pairs of glasses, Star.
Hey,
One not enough.
this is the warehouse glasses.
Right? Oh, well, you need to wear 3 pairs of those, mate. At $4 each, you can afford 3 pairs of glasses for $12.
I tell you what, they're probably the wrong bloody strength, the truth be known.
No wonder you couldn't link up.
I told you, brother, when we do these live interviews, don't go on Tinder. In case our kids are watching.
They will be.
Yeah, I'm sure we're trying to be PG too.
Hey, look, guys. 8 years ago when you started the Big 8, I think around that time, that inspired us guys here on this side of Porirua and up the Kapiti Coast with regards to Wasakili Te Ti o Te Manga. We started a mountain bike group, the likes of myself, Shane, our bullet friend Warren Doherty, Dallas Paul. We started a mountain bike group, and I think there's one time there, or a couple of times, we had seen you guys on a Sunday morning coming over the Wainui Hill, and we were coming off the tracks. And that you guys sort of inspired us to get together like that as well. To obviously, as you mentioned earlier on, after playing footy, we did nothing for a while until one of us got pretty crook and went, "Oh, okay, guys, I think we better start doing something, get back into some sort of physical activity." Basically, what you guys are going through right now and still going. Well, our group was still there, and we still talk about it, but. We are with other groups as well, as we do other rides with other groups like CSP, the community or Cycle Safe Porirua with Finley's group, and some of us ride just by ourselves when we get time. So and also hitting the gym. But I must admit I do go onto your guys' Facebook page and see what's going on. Maybe copy a few of your guys' training. Scenarios there too. So
I know that Frank Volley in particular makes the point of taking a photo of Terry's whiteboard of the exercise, and that's posted as well. Yeah. And again, that's an easy way for everybody to look at what a relatively easy 30-minute exercise program looks like. One of my observations that I was on the district health board for 6 terms for 18 years. And one of the things that I did notice during my long time in that position was that a lot of the healthy programs are attended by healthy people. Whereas, that area of, overweight, obese, wrong diet, trying to be active, struggling to walk, struggling to get up, struggling to move, if you don't exercise, that's what's ahead of you. So what I've found, well, certainly Star and I and others with our program, is it's a really, really easy way, if you haven't been active for a while, to just get involved in it, because you only do what you want to do and do what you can do. And as Star says, some can do 500 reps in 30 minutes, and some might do a little bit less, and some might do a little bit more. So it's that kind of a program as well. It's easy for it's easy for everybody to participate.
Yeah. Now, it looks like you've got a really good sort of core group that's been involved in that. What sort of has people sort of can come in and out as they sort of like, and then you've got some sort of consistent guys who are turning up every week?
Well, they come and go, Shane, but you got the regulars that'll stay and just to fly the flag. Really, that's important. I mean, we all got our own life to lead, and sometimes we just can't make it there on the night. But there's no dramas if you can't make it. It's just putting it out there, just getting, as Ken said, getting people motivated and activated to get moving. And they'll come back again when they're good and ready. I mean, we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't want to do it. And we've seen too much of what's going the wrong way, not to carry on doing what we're doing. Yeah, so.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Oh, no, I think it's great that it's always an option for some people, and then when they know they sort of feel at that point they're sort of along in there. So I think it's just good that it's always there for people to jump on when they're able to.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, just want to plug in too. Obviously, Wellington Masters Rugby League. That sort of come into fruition again, and we try and get a lot of the guys that used to play to come back in. That's one way of still trying to remain active as well. So still getting good numbers there with all the clubs now, and we still did have a hui when the season's going to start actually this year. And last year we kicked off with the having the medical tests as well. But I think what we also need to follow up on is the test at the start of the season, and one maybe halfway in the season, and then at the end. So that's something the leaders of the teams need to probably discuss. But yeah, involving masters is another means of staying active and for your bodies and mind.
Yeah, Stars and Kokiri have been a real leader for us in that area as well with testing and getting the Big 8 group to come to. Well, we've had some hui at the Waitemata Marae, and we've had some testing done at Kokiri in Seaview as well for exactly that. Some have got through it, and some it's warranted in some clinical checks. But that's fantastic because.
Oh, we've lost him. I bet he went back on the.
Oh, there we are.
Here we go. Back on, kid.
He's not sure.
Yo, can you hear us?
He's on his phone now. He's going to be ringing you, Shane. What's happening?
Ring Tiare.
There he goes. He's ringing someone.
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah, you're on.
We good?
Yeah, we can see you, kid.
We still there?
Yeah, yes. Yep. Who are you ringing? Star?
He can't hear. Can't see.
Oh,
Like what was happening yesterday.
Brisbane.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you live in the Nui. They'll hills don't give you a clear line of sight.
Correct.
He's still with us though. He's
The old phones be lighting up with abuse from over in the Nui after that statement. But, yeah, no. What he's saying was absolutely right too. So it'll be there for whoever wants to be a part of, like your group out there in Porirua up the country.
Are we still there?
Yeah, bro, we're still here.
Yep.
Yeah. He's not sure. He's looking at his phone.
I've just messaged them. Yeah, all good.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
We've had a couple of connections of Fauono Mata. It's been problematic.
Yeah. That's it.
Sorry, boys, I've lost your audio. I'll try to know what I've done here or whether something's happened.
Yeah, no,
It's looking okay from my end, so the sound's working.
Yeah. It was just like his carries, eh? He'd always drop the ball under pressure. That's why Johnny always took the third carry. Take the pressure off him.
I'm not
You
sure.
might have to ask me a question on the text. I'll try my best to answer.
oh,
He can't hear us.
Audio, he can't hear us.
No, he can't. He's gone, mate.
Just,
Might have to jump out and come back in.
yeah. Chatty, could you ring him?
Oh, we'll let him know. Yeah. All right,
We
you
still
guys
got
carry on. I'll
right
give him a
along,
buzz.
What Star? This will be interesting because we can't edit.
That's cool, mate. That's cool. That's what live is all about. What's and all, isn't it? What's and all.
Chief.
Yo.
No, we can hear you. We can see you, but you can't hear us.
No, and you guys have all.
Oh, we're all blacked out.
Well, no, you're not blacked out, but everything's still. It's just,
Okay. So it's your side where the internet, the new internet.
might be.
What you can do is just you can log back out and log back in because Shane is the main. He's on the
Okay.
controls.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure it was going to be a GMA Star.
We got a meeting tomorrow too.
Uh,
I hope he turns up for that.
oh, there we go.
We're back.
We're back.
Yes, we're back,
Awesome.
loud and clear.
We're back. I just tried to get a I don't know what it was, but one of my players, Hano Ramoni in Australia, is ringing me live. And the
That's
thing
probably-
and then my thing went dead. So if you're watching Hano, can you just wait, girl? She's probably the most outstanding young. She is A-star. She'd be the most outstanding under 18 prop in New Zealand or in Australia. She's playing for the North Devils. So
Brisbane.
one wonderful player. She's New Zealand Māori representative, New Zealand under 18. She's won every title in every tournament. It's made every tournament team. Yeah, so she's a kid with a great deal. She'll be in the NRLW in a couple of years.
Well, that's a great lead in now, Ken. We can now talk about that subject.
Oh, yeah.
He's giving us all the good segues.
Giving us straight through there. Oh, this is awesome, Ken.
How you
she put herself in. She's put herself on the podcast.
how you've involved with the young woman, yeah.
The Wahine Tour Rugby League.
Yeah. Well, Star. I don't know. I think Star and I are destined to spend the rest of our lives together. I think with the way everything's turned out. He's the chairman. Star's not only the chairman of Wainamata Marae, he's chairman of Ngāoe or Wainamata Marae, and they made the decision before I got involved to send youth teams to the Māori tournaments.
Yes.
And just so happened that my goddaughter, Billy Va, who's Earl and Nairi's daughter, she's half Māori, half Sa. She was in the team. My daughter's goddaughter is Rihanna Leafapaki, who's also the top hooker for her age grade in New Zealand. Another one is half Māori, half Samoan, and my niece is the captain of the team, Te Raukura Leafe, Ralph and Rachel's daughter. So Rachel's related to me on my dad's side. So it's a very small world. All those three girls are the same age. And they all came to see me. They didn't have a coach to go to the under-14 tournament. It's funny how things work out. My dad Ken Laban Senior and Star's dad Ralph, who they both passed on. Now they were on the establishment and foundation committee for Waitemata Marae. And years after they're both gone, Star and I still linked to the marae. Our families are still involved, and the emergence of the Nahoe Wha Waitemata Marae team. It's been it's been a wonderful thing for both of us to be involved with. I didn't think. I think Shane was in the last senior team that I coached over 30 years ago, and I honestly thought that my day, or Star as well, at our days, rugby league, especially juniors, was long over. But here we are going around with a new generation, and they're great kids too. They keep us young, good for a laugh, and we've had some great times together. And there's about 15 or 16 of our original group, I think, started spread around Australia now.
Yeah.
Various junior academies. It's been an amazing movement.
Awesome.
Very, very humbling for us to be involved with them.
Yeah. And Star, you've sort of been involved in the game at club level, but then also now you're the president of Wellington Rugby League. I think the question to both of you: what over that time, and Ken coming back to the game, what are some of the observations that you guys have seen in terms of the sort of evolution of the game, not just the playing of the game, but just in terms of how the game in Wellington has evolved since the 1980s, 1990s?
If we want to get political, there's been one or two decisions made to the detriment of the game that if we had our time over again, those decisions would have been given a lot more thought. That's one. The other one is that we just cannot kick on and grow the numbers to a point where, like in our day, for whatever reason it is nowadays, whether it's kids got other interests in life, parents can't afford to pay the fees, the uniforms, and that. But the numbers that played the game back then, compared to the numbers that play the game now, so that's a big issue for us at junior level, and hopefully through what we do with Nahoe Wha or Waitemata Marae will go some ways to support the efforts to regrow, I suppose, regrow the game, if you like. And so we see a big surge in girls and women's rugby league. It's the key is that we need to kick on and get in and support that, but not forget there's a lot of the boys too there. So if we could just move it together, I think is the key, and not get too excited about where the girls' game is going. Ken's got that in hand, so we just need to get others on the same walk, if you like, and look at how best that they can move the boys along as well.
Ken?
Well, I suppose Star's 100% correct with his observations. We look at what the game was like in the glory days when the Kiwis were playing in the local competition, the rivalries, the community and whānau support for all of the teams, the night games at the Hut Wreck, those big games when those teams when Porirua City was at its peak, and Harbour City, then the city, St George, and obviously Waitemata, Renwick, Upper Hutt, Tigers, Petone Panthers, in their heyday, and the reality of that now has been, the I suppose, almost the re-professionalism of the game in Australia and what that has meant from a recruitment point of view and from a development point of view. As I mentioned before, the NRLW was what, 4 years old. The Wellington Orcas team that won the national title. This is in the girls. It's the team that and the Nahoe Wha under 18 team that toured Australia and won the Māori national title last year. Of that group, 17 of them are in Australia. Now, like from everywhere, North Devils, Manly, Penrith, the Roosters, Billy Bars at the Illawarra Steelers, Jada Maniapoto's at the Newcastle Knights. All these kids were playing for the Orcas last year. And the reality is they're going to stay and probably end up staying and playing in the women's grade. And then they're going to challenge for NRL W. And I just sent an email actually the other day to Motu Tony, about because you probably know Trinity Tau in the fantastic player. She left to go to Australia last year. She was in Australia less than 7 months and got selected for the new Australian under-18 team. She only lived in Australia for 7 months. She's born and raised in Wainuiomata. So, there are some challenges there over what we do. And now every tournament we go to, there are club scouts that are so, it's very hard for us to hold on to our kids. And so they don't even end up playing Premier game. Like when you're signed at 15 or 16, and they want you to play, SG Ball and Harold Matthews in the boys, or Lisa Fiola and Tasha Gale in the girls. So that has a positive impact for those kids who get the opportunity to go, and a negative impact, obviously, on the growth and development of the game here. But from my observations, the work that's been done to grow the game at the junior level is very, 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 very exciting anyway. So I don't think we can stop the best players going, but it shouldn't stop us continuing to develop the game.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook, Wellington Rugby League has got the pod, the player development sort of programs with the younger players, and seeing them. Interesting to see them sort of workshopping a number of things around values and ideals, as well as the football skill. And that as well. I mean, always the cream is going to rise to the top in terms of opportunities for talented players, but also it's trying to also build a bit of depth and consistency with the cohort as a whole.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly, 100%.
We want longevity too in terms of the support out of Auckland. I know that Andre's been talking to the Warriors, but there's nothing official yet. I'll put that out there because there isn't, but a lot of talk. So until we start nailing that down, it'll be great. In the meantime, it's shoulder to the grindstone.
Yeah,
we had Shane. You'll find some irony in this. I was at the pod on Friday night helping out on the coaching stations, and Willie Heather and I were doing defence.
The swinging arm.
So I said to the kids when they came through that they're under 14, I said, if any of you need any advice and any tips on what to do when you get to the district, ask Willie.
Also ask him as a centre how to hold the line together and not pull it apart. Look, one of the things that it's good in terms of that there's some driven stuff from the game itself and the infrastructure of the game. But look, I also want to acknowledge, I think used to it also been sort of examples of not necessarily waiting for people to do stuff and actually address the needs of the game. I remember in the early 2000s, a number of junior competitions that were running once a week on the weekends with Star and yourself, and also just sessions in the off season and that as well. So is there an opportunity in terms of just a number of people involved with the game to keep some of those things going where there are gaps that's not provided by the overall infrastructure of the game as a whole?
Well, firstly, bro, nobody owns anybody, and nobody owns the game. you know, we're all active, and Star and I have, you know, I suppose I don't know whether it's our parents' influence or Karapuki Tapu's influence, but you know, he was the big one. If you know, if there's a need, fill it. You know, and essentially you know, when the families and the kids come to us and say they want a rugby league program, well, you know, you either provide it or you don't. And you know, I think that, you know, the sort of stuff that we do, we need that to happen in every community. I think it'd be fantastic.
Hey, Ken and Star, it's not so much a question, but I just wanted to put forward that you guys were talking about when you guys when Wainui went over with was it under 16s or under 14s? They won the competition
To Australia last year, those were under 18 teams.
Yeah, that was the high schools, eh?
Yeah, we played Marston State High. Yeah, Marston High School, and we played Mabel Park, who were the Australian secondary school champions. They won the NRL schools title, and we played a club called Caboolture.
I just wanted to say, because I messaged Tama. He sort of out of the blue, and he was just telling me he's there with his moko.
Oh yeah,
with the competition. So I met him at Marsden High, and we marched together. You guys maybe in there, I'm not sure, but there was a big support of Wainui, you know, and it was like, for me, it was like you know, being back home, but this time it was 2024. I think it was last year, the beginning of the year. You guys came over, and it was like maybe 20-30 support. Like, you know, you guys, you know, you had the support there, and I was just like blown away.
Yeah, bro. Well, no, it was tremendous to be like. There's a very big Wainui Mara contingent over there. You know, Shaz Williams over there, Jean Keller was over there, Janice Aldridge was over there, Ricky Towry's over there, Terence Tuari Gonk was over there, Bobby Crawford. It was like and we were there. We played 3 games in 10 days, and it was like a massive reunion. You know, plus the younger ones, you know, Haynes and John, who were there as well. And they came to they all came to the games, and all of the players that got big fun. It's a big Ranwick contingent in Brisbane. Caught up with Wes Henry at the Caboolture game as well. Yeah, no, it was really great. It was quite emotional as well. And it wasn't anything that we thought about, you know. But when you know, it's only a little thing. But when the girls did the haka, the Nahawe Wha haka, which referenced Pukeato and Wainui Mata, and you know, of course, when you live in a place like Australia, you know, you're not around the tikanga, you're not around the culture like we are on a regular basis. And I remember, you know, watching all of our people that were there that live in Australia, you know, and how they just felt straight away connected, you know. And equally, I thought that there was I just found that interesting. On the 3 games that we played, the 3 opposition teams that we played were all dominated by Māori and Pacific Island teams, players. All of the coaching staff of all of the 3 teams were white. And the big difference between the 2 organisations is that, you know, with our group, all our coaches were brown, and all Māori and Pacifica as well. And I got the feeling that a lot of the Māori Pacific girls who don't have the same interaction culture-wise, they were very taken, as was all, especially the Wainui Mata people. They were very emotional to hear these young, because you know they're basically old enough to be their grandparents for a lot of those kids, and just how proud that they were, and it made us proud as well. You know, it was a lovely experience. You know, but that was the beginning. We look back on it now, Star, a year later, but that was the beginning of the end of those girls, because by the time they finished that tour 9 days later, every single one of them had their name down somewhere on, you know. So that was the great. We never gave that a thought before we left, but the reality is now, you know, they're all, you know, 6 of them at the North Devils and in the Brisbane Under-19 comp. They had a good win yesterday, and as I say, there's 4 at Penrith, 1 at Manly, a couple at the Roosters. It's fantastic.
Hey, look, Ken, I'm just thinking now, as a parent of these the young women that now are playing in Australia. did they ask you for advices and what's our next move? What can we do? Or like obviously it would have been a shock to the parents as well.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of those conversations, bro, because there's so many of them, many of them there, and obviously the first question you got to ask the kid and the whānau is, do you want to go? And if the answer to that is yes, and not everybody said yes, like Boris Taltal's daughter Serena, she's a really, really good winger. She's a kid who can play wing, centre, fullback, halfback, very talented. Tough kid like her dad. As well, she had an opportunity to go, but she didn't want to go. She was happy to, she's happy to stay home and play in the local comp, and that's all good. Others couldn't get to the airport quick enough. They were that keen to go and see how far they could get in the game. But the reality is, at the level that they go at, it's amateur. So they need to be supported by the whānau. They need somewhere to stay. They need somewhere safe to stay as well. Like for some of them, if they go, and our youngest girls, like Jermaine's daughter, Kyla Mere, I think Kyla's only 15, turning 16. So for all of our girls, their first time living away from home. So you can't underestimate how hard that is, for the girls and also for the parents as well. When they lose, when the kid goes, and they need. And I can't stress the importance of any of the whānau that are watching. Wherever they go, it needs to be a safe environment. They need to eat well, sleep well. It needs to be clean. Hopefully, there's love and support because it's the first time they've been on a strength and conditioning program. So they're going to come home tired. They're going to come home sore, and also, learning to live in a new country and manage the public transport and get to school. All of those things have to be taken into account. Like celebrating the fact that they're going. That's about 5% of the overall challenge that's in front of the whānau.
Yeah, I was thinking about because a lot of the girls are young about schooling. Obviously, get into a school there, and again, a new environment as you've mentioned. It'll be hard on them connecting with the new, making obviously friends, and then obviously with the parents making new networks over there, and just getting all that involved, eh?
Yeah, no, exactly. Plus, the reality of being an overseas player going into a team, and then all the local girls, see somebody from New Zealand walk in, whose position is she going to take or is he going to take, and then everybody smiles to your face. But we've got to get our kids. We've got to get our kids ready for the reality of all of those sorts of things. Not everybody's your friend. And it can be hard if you're a long way away from your parents, and
so true.
We have a few heart-to-hearts. I've had a few heart-to-hearts with some of the girls over there because the reality is too, you're not going to get being a star over here is one thing, being a star over there is something else. So if you don't get picked and you don't have the whānau around you, and who do you share your disappointment with, and because they still need love. They still need uffy and support, probably up until they're 30 sometimes, but that's the reality for them, when everything's on the line every day at training for them. But, but overall, we're pretty excited for them.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier just around the closeness of the families, the Olsen and Laban's. I notice every state of origin that Star, you sort of do a flag raising every day, every morning after the game in the series. I mean, you two are also on opposite ends, aren't you, in terms of your state of origin allegiances?
Well, that's an interesting thing you raise. Like, Shane, I love Star, but he can do some stupid things. And I have to say that supporting New South Wales is one of them. There are two idiots in my life. I'm married to one and Star's the other. They are both New South Wales supporters.
Up the Blues, yeah.
And,
Go the Blues.
And they both have serious character flaws.
You got to respond to that.
Yeah. But you know, the raising of the flag up the pole, again, that's just promoting all the good things about state of origin, regardless who wins. You know, up goes the piece of plastic, and the messages come flooding in, and some of the comments is terrific. I mean, it's made against mate. It's all that stuff that they talk about, these Australians, and it's sort of rubbed off on a lot of the Kiwis, obviously, and so that's just another part of state of O, I guess, is and more they can connect with that, the better. But no, he's quite right. We do have our falls, and for Ken, it's supporting the other team north of the border. So
they're called Queensland Star.
Yeah. So I've got one muckle. No, actually, I've got two muckles, and they both support Queensland. So I'm up against it. But
often when the muckles are smarter than the grandfather.
Yeah, that's just state of origin and what it brings. What it brings it's great to be a part of, and long may it continue.
And Star, you're also a pretty staunch Storm supporter as well.
Well, I tell you, I was a few years ago. Actually, I was more of a Rabbit supporter back in the day, and then because we had the Storm over here, thanks to Ken and a couple of other teams that he's managed to bring over, and so the connection was always there, for sure. But and then I thought I'd give the Warriors a bit of a piece of me, and so I've been a Warriors sort of I wouldn't say diehard supporter, but you always like your Kiwi teams to do well. You know, the Oranges, you know, the other week there when they got a tune up, I'd actually gone for the opposition. So yeah, how staunch has that been a supporter? Not very, but you know, when we got the NRL picks on the line, the big money to be had. Who's at the top of our competition camp, but
not me, bro.
No, for sure. But
I'm supposed to be an expert.
And look, that's one of the other things. So you've had that pool going for how many years now? I think I finished third in the first year, and I've never been back. So who won it last year?
That was young Buchanan, I think.
Was it Logan?
No.
Or Taz?
Taz.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Taz.
Yeah. Taz won it last year, and I think he actually called his winnings back into the pool.
Wow.
Oh, generous.
Amazing.
Well, if I win it this year, I won't be doing that. I'll text you all from Vegas. Wish you were here having a great time.
I see that. Didn't Donna finish ahead of you as well, Ken?
I find that you know the year that happened when she finished about 10 places in front. You know, I walked down to the beach by myself. And it was time for me to contemplate a lot of things. So there was a terrible setback in my morale for that to happen.
Look, guys, one of the things I was interested to say was Ken, you know, and it's good you raised that, Ken, around the closeness of the families, but you, in terms of Wainui Mara, the community coalesces around a number of things. I think you've talked about the marae We've had the rugby league clubs and that as well. Sort of what makes sort of that Wainuiomata sort of Waifetu sort of area what it is in terms of just the character of it in the community, from you both?
Well, I suppose that it's all to do with the early 60s, I think. Late 50s had a significant role to play in towns such as Wainuiomata. We had that urban move to the cities. The old man put us in the back of an old Land Rover. 12 hours later, we're landing in Wainuiomata to be our home forever and ever. And, you know, we were one family of many from all over the country who, you know, was either Auckland or Wellington. And so the old man chose to come down this way because obviously some of our whānau were already here in Wainuiomata, trying to make a start from the country. So, you know, the downside of that, if we want to get too political, is that when we left, like a lot of our families, when we left the coast, the old land got taken. And so that's another issue that we're still fighting the fight about under the Public Works Act and all those other acts of the day. Unfortunately, it meant, you know, we had nothing to go back to. So, but anyway, I think that's what makes places like Wainui special. I guess geographically, I suppose the hills might have something to do with it. I'm not sure, but you know, the same can be said for Purirua. A lot of whānau moved there as well, and Ken will tell you, as you guys all know, all your ainga, they came from the islands. Hey, Purirua or Wainui. So I think that's what makes Wainuiomata pretty tight.
Yeah, well, our story is exactly the same. You know, both my parents were born and raised in Samoa. My dad from Matahutu, my mum from Waiala. They came to New Zealand in the late 50s and moved to Wainuiomata. Donna and I still live in the family home in Wainui, so I've been in the same house since 1958. Just around the corner or behind us in Totara Street was John and Bubby Turner. And John and Bubby Turner are Billy and Pretty Wepu's grandparents. And we were moved here in 58. They moved there in 59, and the Olsens are around 59. We're all around that 3 or 4 year kind of era of doing things. So I grew up with Billy and Piri's mum, Kura, and her sisters and brother. So my sister Winnie and I, so we all grew up together. Then our kids, our 5 plus Billy and Piri, they all grew up together. And now their kids and my grandkids, they're all growing up together. So in terms of those connections, we like to talk about it when our two families have things together, because, you know, essentially it's, you know, it's over 60 years that the Turners and the Labans put the two families together. And I'm coaching, you know, I'm also coaching the Ngāhoe Whā under 13 boys team this year. And John and Bubby's great grandson, which is Piri's boy, and Peyton, and Billy's boy Hudson, and my moko Elijah. Hopefully, he's going to come from Brisbane because he's half Māori as well. And Billy, Piri, and I are coaching that team at the Māori tournament in the first weekend in July. So we go round and round in the same spot to stay in the same place.
Yeah.
So you know, we think about it, we're just how lucky we are to be connected, and there's lots of stories like that in Wainuiomata. But you know, everybody's connected, and I really hope my grandson, who's Ngāti Porou, and with a bit of Waiala and Matahutu from Samoa,
What a mix.
in him as well, will take the field for Ngāhoe Whānau. We've already sent him the haka on YouTube, so we'll see how it goes. And he's practicing his pepe haka because it's compulsory. So all of those things. That's all.
Awesome.
And I don't know, and I was saying, we seem to get more satisfaction out of being around these kids than we were, back in the heyday when Wainui was at the top of the tree.
Yep.
Look, you touched on a bit of football too that I think has been something that's been part of some of the strength of the game in Wellington too is we talk about the Māori tournaments, but Ken, there's also was involvement around the Pacific competition in terms of the Samoan team, Tikaloan team, Cook Island team, and that. I think that it offers another sort of dynamic, and also for a lot of us that were having affiliation to any of those teams, just another opportunity to sort of represent, but something different from club and representative like Wellington.
Bro, the Queensland, they tell me last year or the year before, the Queensland Pacifica junior age grade tournament, Haynes told me there were 15,000 people that came through over the 3 days of competition. So, what we've been doing with Ngā Hawe and we see now, don't we, there's a Porirua age grade Samoan teams, there's Wellington City age grade Samoan teams, there's Hawhaliva Wainui age grade Samoan teams. Then you add to that, last year over 6,000 players went to the Māori tournaments. So these are going to be interesting times for the future of the game, particularly from an administration and governance point of view, because all of the structures behind these teams is not your traditional club. They're either village, iwi, whānau, ainga, family, everybody's connected. And, and if if the Samoan Assembly of God Church wanted to put an under 14 team because they've got 15 kids that want to play, well, they can put them in any of those, they are easy competitions and tournaments that allow for people to enter and participate.
Yeah. And Star, does it need, when you're looking at the game, is really around the environment, is trying to sort of remain relevant with that changing environment?
Are we going to reinvent ourselves? I think that's something that needs to be looked at. Is the club's face still there, or is it something else that's going to be the focus of rugby league? You're talking clubs with a history some over 100 years. Is it going to be lost for the, should I say, for the good of the game? I'm not sure. But gee, when you got, so last year I went to the Tamariki tournament up in Rotorua in September, I think it was October. There was 95 teams, but there was 112 that were registered. But because they never had enough ground, they had to tell those who couldn't come, sorry, but we can't accommodate you. So, that's the stats back it up. That, there is something there for rugby league. It's just a matter of how it can mesh, if at all, or does it stay a standalone of the game, and we all say what a wonderful job we're doing. I don't know.
Well, even what starts it, it's 95 team squads of at least 20. That's 2,000 kids. And, the Palangis talk all the time. They're all worried about where all the kids are. I'm talking to All Black great Christian Cullen yesterday, and because his daughter Dylan has been training with the Ngā Hawe team because she's got Māori on his mother. And he was blown away. There's 34 kids at training. I said, all them Palangis want to know where the kids are. I said, they're all going to rugby league, bro. He was just blown away, and he hasn't been to a Māori tournament yet. And I said to him, when you go, bro, you'll be absolutely blown away. I've been the last 5 years, and as you say, they have to split all the competitions up now because you just can't accommodate. It wasn't that long ago in the grade that we play. There was only 4 teams. Well, there's 18 teams now, including 3 from Australia. The Kotaitanga teams come, and Ete Hiju come as well from the Gold Coast. So yeah, it's just, and as Star says, they've reinvented the game with the whole kind of Fauono kind of Ainga administration and governance, self-governance, fundraise their own. Big quiz coming up. Just as an example, there's a quiz, Nahoefa quiz this Friday night at the Wainea Mara. There's only room for 10 tables. We've sold 13.
Oh, God. This
So
week.
there'll be a few on the drink in the dressing room downstairs that don't know it yet. Or maybe out they've got a table, get the money off them, send them downstairs. Send them downstairs with the
You have to put scaffolding up.
That's the sort of thing that's all part of the, and there's a hangi associated with it as well. And that's going on in all of these communities.
Yeah.
It's magic.
I just want to mention, Ken, that we've got a couple. We've got some of those hangis as well, because one of our granddaughters, my granddaughter, got picked on the Māori side of Wainui, and she's really so. I won't mention her name, but she's really it's from this level to like. She's really really encouraged that she's got picked up.
Awesome.
On Wainui, and I'm thinking like too. It's one of those things where as a player, the children, they just get uplifted, especially when they get picked for like the Wainui team that went over to Australia last year. That I'd seen, they were just all. I was blown away at the skill level, and so we'll be helping up. We'll be going over. I mean, not going over, but we'll bought some tickets.
Awesome, bro. Well, I think for example, it's our Saturday morning. So they're on the grass every Saturday morning at 8:00. These are the Nahoefa kids, and they come from everywhere. But Johnny Lomax was home for his father-in-law's tangi, and Johnny was down on the defence station when he was home. Pity was there on Saturday. He was on the catch and pass station. Chris Fox, who won the Queensland Cup with the Redcliffe Dolphins, is a legend in X1 Armada Premier player in age grade junior. Well, Foxy takes one of the school stations. Boris Tautau, who's from the Petone Club. His daughter's aged out, but he's still down there coaching as well. TK Tamor Leafa, standing like the quality of the coaches in Mike Lealavaa as well. So the quality of coaches around the kids in terms of what you say, bro, like their catch and pass and their kicking game and their tackle technique and the aggression, all the things that they need to kind of sharpen up to be good. They're very lucky to have such experienced people around them, and I think that's been a big factor in their on-field success as well.
Yeah. So look, your current sort of roles in the community, you guys have sort of talked about some of the stuff that you've sort of been doing and active now, and also both of you have involved in the media, Star with Atiawa in terms of iwi radio. Ken, everyone knows your work in media over a number of years and that now. What's some things that you could sort of around your observations of the development of sort of media, particularly in terms of in Māori and Pacific, or just that our more visibility in a lot of those particular sort of spaces. Now, Star, I have taken on your advice and have tried not to say a lot in our last couple of recordings. So, just keen on your guys' sort of work in that particular space, and particularly being a voice out to the community.
Well, from my perspective, sorry, Ken, it's just we fell into that sort of type of stuff, and radio. It wasn't anything intentional from my perspective, but here we go. Get a call from Wairangi League Station manager. What are you doing? Let's have a crack at this sports show. 25 years later, we're still there. We're retired now. Kenny's just shifting into second gear. He's full steam ahead. I'm a bit worried about my mate. it's been wonderful. It's been a way to connect with the community. We've used it to promote a lot of local stuff as well that would normally not get any exposure for our people and what they do. It's been terrific. We've deliberately used it to promote one of the hugest community days. I think Te Rao Te Raukura at Waiwhatu. And so, no, it's been terrific. And any opportunity, any chance that we can get to promote our people, to host events, terrific. And it's what needs to happen in the community. Give everyone the opportunity. And if it's through iwi radio, then it's through iwi radio.
Now, in terms of Te Rao Te Raukura, you're the only one who has a store that has nothing to give anyone.
And behind the van. Was it in the back of the van?
I can't do anything without the spires out there, bro. Yeah,
Sounds.
Every year my van is strategically placed, so I get a panoramic view of the whole law. You're quite right, and this year was no different. I managed to get that view that is much sought after. But yeah, no, you're right there, Shane. But that's what it's all about. You put the mahi in, you get the rewards, as they say.
Yeah, and also, your involvement with Kokiri Marae, a trustee, but also in terms of the wonderful health services run out of the marae, and in terms of for the community.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, mate? If the world was perfect, we wouldn't have a hauora here at the marae. Everyone would have a healthy life. Things would be great. But it's not, unfortunately. And so it was originally something that was very close to my mum when she came here. When she came here, it was just a trade training centre. She made cups of tea for the students, and when they closed it down, when the Māori Affairs closed it down, she stayed. She stayed and started working with the gangs. And from there, it grew to where we are today. And so it's in the blood, I guess. So we're all here. My two sisters, they run the show, and they're going through tough times at the moment with the hauora, as we all know. Funding is tight, but you just got to keep battling on and see what's out there. But they service the community, and so I hate to think what's going to happen, but we're all digging in here at the marae, just trying to make sure that we can keep our people. But it is what it is, isn't it? And so life will go on, and there'll be still our community out there, our whānau out there needing help, and so we're going to be here, mate, come hell or high water. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'd say, and sort of key in media and politics as well for yourself.
Yeah, I've had an interesting life, made in a lot of ways. Like I just listening to Star. When I left school at 17, I joined the police at 18, and I really thought that I was going to be a career police officer, and that I would probably stay there for 40 odd years or whatever. And then I get a phone call from Kara Pukitapu, who I'd never really formally met. At the time, he's a legendary figure, and I'd married him, and in wider New Zealand society and around the world as well, with the various international posts that he's had. He was the coach of the Wainemata team, and Star was the chairman. And this was in I think it was in the summer of 1987. And I was already, I think, 31 or something. And that was around about the age in those days where you gave it away. Star had retired about 4 years earlier and started taking on administration and responsibilities, etc. And then I had no idea what impact that decision that I made to go to a second division club in Wainuiomata would have in my life, and even including to today. Then in 1988, we won the second division and got promoted to the first division. And then 1989, as everybody knows, we won the Wellington title. And we just lost the grand final of the Lion Red Cup to North Cope. And we went back the following year, lost to Upper Hutt in the local final, but still qualified for the Lion Red Cup, and we beat Otahu in the final. But over the course of those 2 years, in 1989 and 1990, we seem to have picked up a fairy tale following in the wider community, who were these bunch of, misfits from Wainuiomata that are taking the rugby league world by storm, so to speak. And all the media scrutiny, and then Cutter being Cutter, he didn't want to say anything publicly, so he pushed me out there. And over the course of the many kind of inane interviews that you get to do as captain of the footy team, one of the interviews was overheard by somebody at Television New Zealand. I get a phone call out of the blue. Ken, blah, 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 blah. We think that you'd be okay as a television commentator. Do you want to give it a go? So no, like Star with getting the phone call from neither of us had any formal training, no qualifications, no broadcast background. We just kind of, and that was 35 for me. That was now 35 seasons ago. I was at Television New Zealand for 10 years, and I've now been at Sky 25 years and still there as well. But I just, if Cutter and Star hadn't spoken to me, had I not have gone to Wainuiomata, that interview by Television New Zealand guy would never have been overheard, and I would never have got my start at Television New Zealand. It's funny how things turn out, and it has always been a very easy decision for me to stay in the community in spite of everything that I get involved with, because it's the community that gave me the opportunity that I have today. So when with Star and that at Nahoe Whā, I'll probably coach one of those 8th grade teams till I drop dead, and that's the way that it should be. As long as it's relevant and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's been interesting, and as I say, I'm still there, and opportunities I've had to be involved in radio and TV and write columns and travel the world and get paid to watch sport. Yeah, I've been very lucky.
Well, look, both of you are really a really good example of tautua service and that in the community and the work that you guys sort of do. As we close out now, any sort of final thoughts from you both?
Ooh, mate, there's an old saying, hey, how long's a piece of string? You just keep going till just keep going, mate. If you didn't like what you're doing, like talking to you guys there, could have said, I'm not available. But now we just love doing, promoting, putting the message out there. And long may it continue, I guess. So.
Yeah, I don't think nothing will inspire you more than watching other people achieve their potential. And Star and I and you guys as well, we've been in that game a long, long time. Interesting that Atiawa Tour FM radio, that sports show, it's over 25 years that Star's talking about. Now, that's been the only constant in local sport for 25 years. News Talk ZB basically disappeared off the face of the earth. There's all kind of little, but Atiawa Tour FM have been a constant in there. We and Star, and I think it's a Semi and Cass kind of have that responsibility now, and are doing a wonderful job with that too. And we're just, as Star says, we're just very fortunate to do what we do in the environment that we do it with, and all the people that support us, including the opportunity to be on this podcast, bro.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, Shane, sorry to interrupt again. Star and Ken, for me, I just like to ask you to tell us something about you guys, what you guys love to do, like that the internet doesn't tell us about, that no one really knows. Can you just tell us something that you love to do?
Good question.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because there's so much stuff on the net these days.
What can't we Google?
Just something that you love to do that none of us know. The net.
When my girls are in the defence line, and they shoulder up, shoulder to shoulder. I've been with these kids for 5 years, and they fly off the line to try and dominate physically, in a contact sport like rugby league. And as you know, our game are not for the faint-hearted. The pussies are playing something else.
Still the same.
Still the same, bro. Nothing gets my adrenaline going as much as that. Nothing gives me more of a thrill in life than watching my girls come off the line and hit in defence.
Wow.
Yeah, try Googling that, eh? If you ask my girls to go, "Oh, Papa Kent's a pussy," what would he know?
Yeah, mate. I suppose those things that are pretty deep and near to each and every one of us. You keep those pretty close to yourself, and you try not to let it out too much. But Ken's right. It's there's a lot of the stuff that we do. It's what everyone else does, really, and I just love telling everyone else what we do, because you want them to be doing the same thing. And if it's about starting up their own Big 8 group, if it's about taking their kids down to training on a Wednesday at 5 o'clock, and getting alongside the coach, no disrespect to those old fellas who think they still got that in and away, Tiare, but I think there'll be a lot of good coaches there for schoolboys as well. So, it's just, you won't see anything in Facebook that's not already been talked about, right? That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, look, it's been a great sort of chance for us to sit down with you. I knew, when we wanted to talk to both of you, we knew that this was we'd talk about a bit of rugby league, but we knew that there was some wider stuff that really does a little bit more justice to the work that you do in the community as general. So it's a real privilege for us to sit down and spend some time this evening talking, but also just something that was really, really good on our part to be able to sit talk to you guys about a number of particular things. We could have talked for a whole lot more stuff, but I think it's some good stuff that we were able to sort of talk with you guys about this evening. So thank you, Fauono and Star, just in terms of the time tonight. And we'll sort of close off our episode from here. So we'll see everyone later.
Appreciate you guys. Kōrero, talanoa tonight.
Thank you.
Kia manuia.
Thanks. Thank you, Ken and Star. Been a blessing.